Alrighty guys, what's going on? It's Phil here and welcome to my official 2025 Royal Rumble predictions video. We're going to be going over each and every single match that is currently scheduled for Royal Rumble 2025. I'm going to be telling you guys who I think is ultimately going to be winning each and every single match that is currently scheduled and where I think everything is going to be going heading into the road to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. And when it comes down to the actual Rumble matches themselves, I'm going to be talking about 4 predictions that I'm going to be having in this video for each and every single one of them. I am going to be talking about who I think is going to be the Iron Man and Iron Woman in each Royal Rumble. I'm going to be talking to you guys about who I think is going to have the most eliminations in both of the Royal Rumble matches. I'm also going to be saying who I think is going to be ending up in the Final Four and who is going to be the ultimate winner of each Rumble match out of that Final Four. So let's dive right into the Royal Rumble for 2025. But before we do, why don't you guys hit that like button, turn on the bell for all notifications, and subscribe to the channel. That way you guys never miss another upload right here on the YouTube channel. Don't worry, I will be having my Royal Rumble 2025 full show review after the Royal Rumble is all said and done, so stay tuned for that video when that comes out. But let's get right into my 2025 Royal Rumble predictions. Let's start off with the WWE Tag Team Championship 2 out of 3 Falls match between the champions DIY and the challengers in Motor City Machine Guns. Now, this is a shocking statistic when I had this brought to my attention, but this is the first Tag Team Championship match on a WWE PLE since WrestleMania 40 last year. That's absolutely insane to me. But the thing is, when it comes down to the story, when it comes down to DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns, this story is warranted when it comes down to having a tag team championship match on a WWE PLE, so I'm glad that they're getting this spot. And not only that, but this is also a 2 out of 3 Falls match. The last time we saw DIY in a 2 out of 3 Falls match was back in 2016 at NXT TakeOver Toronto, which is absolutely one of the best tag team matches that we have seen and that WWE has produced in quite some time. So the fact that we're getting a 2 out of 3 Falls match between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns, 2 of the best WWE tag teams going at it today, that is absolutely incredible, and this could be easily one of the best tag team matches of the entire year if WWE gives them the time to cook up an amazing matchup like we all know that they could have. But the thing is, when it comes down to the winner out of this 2 out of 3 Falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships, I'm going to go with DIY taking the win over the Motor City Machine Guns with a score of 2-1, mainly because of the fact that I do believe that there is still some sort of chance that we are still going to be seeing some sort of story go on between DIY and Pretty Deadly. The fact of the matter is, those 2 tag teams are tied to the hip right now over on Friday Night SmackDown, and I still do believe that WWE is going to be having some sort of story go on between DIY and how they have been manipulating, Pretty Deadly into the fact that they have been going at it so far right now. So, we are going to be getting some sort of conclusion to that. I don't know if it's going to be happening at WrestleMania or we're going to be seeing some sort of, you know, multi-man ladder match for the tag team championships like we've seen in years past. But regardless, I still do believe that since Pretty Deadly and DIY are tied at the hip right now, there's still going to be some sort of story with that. So I'm going to go with DIY to retain the WWE Tag Team Championships over Motor City Machine Guns. But trust me when I say they're not done being a part of the Tag Team Championship picture anytime soon. Now let's go to the undisputed WWE Championship matchup between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens being the holder of the Winged Eagle Championship, while Cody Rhodes is coming in as the current undisputed WWE Champion in a championship unification ladder match. Now, when it comes down to this undisputed WWE Championship match alone between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, this has probably been one of the best booked matches that we have seen quite some time when it comes down to this undisputed WWE title, mainly because of the fact that we are seeing such great storytelling between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, who have been tied to the hip of each other for quite some time. I mean, Kevin Owens has been doing some of the best work, if not the best work, when it comes down to his character in his entire career, and that is, no slouch to what he's done in the previous years of him being in WWE. This is just the best time that we have seen Kevin Owens and his character over the course of the WWE run that he has had, and it's just absolutely amazing to see. In my eyes, ever since Cody Rhodes won the Undisputed WWE Championship back at WrestleMania 40, Kevin Owens has been the best guy to go up against Cody Rhodes for that Undisputed WWE Championship because we've seen a different side of Cody Rhodes ever since Kevin Owens has gone after him and that Undisputed WWE title. We have seen Kevin Owens go to the lengths of even almost pile driving Shawn Michaels at the contract signing to get a more edgy side out of Cody Rhodes, which is probably one of the best things that you could possibly do right now for Cody because Cody Lander, quote unquote, is coming out right before our very eyes. And this heelish side of Cody Rhodes is something that a lot of people have been wanting to see, and we are kind of getting that right before our very eyes, which is very interesting to say the very least. But when it comes down to the actual ladder match themselves, I truly do believe that we are going to be seeing one of the most brutal ladder matches that we have seen in the modern era, mainly because of how personal it's gotten between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens after everything that they have been through ever since the attack at the bus in the parking lot all those months ago. Now, there has been a lot of stuff teased when it comes down to this ladder match for the Undisputed WWE Championship. And what I mean by that is Kevin Owens has said that Sami Zayn, one way or another, is going to help his best friend, whoever that may be, when the time is right. So they have teased that Sami Zayn could get involved in this ladder match. But, I don't think that Sami Zayn is going to be getting involved in this ladder match. The person I do believe is going to be getting involved is the Viper, Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton shows up within this ladder match and really chooses who he is going to be going up against when it comes down to his road to WrestleMania. Is he going to be going after Kevin Owens, the man that pile driven him to oblivion, that took him out for those few months, or is he going to be going after his former, protege in Cody Rhodes because he has been staring down at that Undisputed WWE Championship ever since Cody won the title back at WrestleMania 40. Randy Orton is going to have to choose, but regardless of whatever happens here, Cody Rhodes to me is still going to be walking out as your undisputed WWE champion, and Cody Rhodes is still going to be the champion heading into the road to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. But the thing is, when it comes down to Cody Rhodes retaining the undisputed WWE Championship, I would not be surprised if they come out on the next episode of Friday Night SmackDown, or maybe the next couple weeks of episodes of Friday Night SmackDown, that we do possibly could be seeing a new championship title design for the undisputed WWE Championship, with how long the Winged Eagle Championship has been present on WWE programming, even though it was only supposed to be a part of a one night special thing when it came down to the WWE Championship title defense at Saturday Night's Main Event. So, merging the current undisputed WWE Championship with the Winged Eagle WWE Championship to merge into one solitary single championship when it comes down to the new WWE title, I think would be very interesting because mainly Cody Rhodes has been wanting to bring back that Winged Eagle Championship for quite some time. And even though they did say it was for one night only, why not consolidate the two and make one singles championship belt for that new design of the undisputed WWE title? I know I wouldn't mind it, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't mind it either. But I guess we'll see in due time if that is actually going to be happening or not. That's just me, spitballing an idea out there. So I guess we'll see what happens in due time. But now we gotta get to the Royal Rumble matches themselves. So let's start off with the Women's Royal Rumble match. So when it comes down to this year's Women's Royal Rumble match, it's very interesting because as of right now, there's only been 10 people that have declared their spot for the Women's Royal Rumble so far. Those 10 women include Nia Jax, Bayley, Liv Morgan, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Raquel Rodriguez, Io Sky, Lara Valkyria, and Ivy Nile. I wrote them down, that way I wouldn't forget. Now, I know I told you guys I'm going to be talking to you guys about who I think is going to be the Iron Woman, the final for the most eliminations and the ultimate winner of each Rumble match. But I also want to tell you guys about some surprise entrants that I could be seeing for both Royal Rumble matches as of this year. So let's start talking about the surprise entrants for this year's Women's Royal Rumble match. I'm first going to start off with Becky Lynch. I do believe that Becky Lynch is going to make her return in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. I know as of right now, they're just trying to figure out some sort of creative spot for Becky Lynch to come back into the fold of WWE, and I do believe that the Royal Rumble is the best place to do it, so have Becky Lynch come back into the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. I do believe that we are going to be seeing some people come back from injury in this Royal Rumble match themselves, so give me Asuka to come back in this Royal Rumble. And while you're at it, Jade Cargill is also going to be coming back in this year's Royal Rumble match to see who is ultimately going to be the person that attacked her all those months ago. Now, as of right now, Jordynne Grace has officially signed a contract with the WWE, so I do believe that Jordynne Grace will show up in this year's Royal Rumble match as a WWE contracted superstar and have herself an amazing Royal Rumble match for herself. And when it comes down to NXT surprise entrants in this year's Royal Rumble match, give me Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion Julia, and a real surprise entrant in Sol Ruka. I think if you really want to get NXT a spot in this Women's Royal Rumble match, those three women would be the best people to do it, mainly because on Sol Ruka's case, you can have her possibly be the next Kofi Kingston of the women's division for NXT, and I think that would be a great spot for her to be in. Plus, Roxanne Perez has already shown up on the main roster to get into the face of Bayley, so you can really make a story between those two heading into the WrestleMania season. And when it comes down to the NXT Women's Champion Julia, I just think that would be a great spot for her, and you can really just showcase the NXT Women's Champion in the Royal Rumble match herself. That way, you can have a very strong spot for her in the Rumble match. I do believe that we are going to be seeing somebody from TNA show up in this Women's Royal Rumble match, and that is going to be Masha Slamovich. I do believe that she could possibly be an entrant in this Women's Royal Rumble match herself. And for a legend return, why not Nikki Bella? I think a Nikki Bella return in this Women's Royal Rumble match would be absolutely insane, and she would get a great pop. Now, who is going to be the Iron Woman for this year's Royal Rumble match? Give me Liv Morgan to be this year's Iron Woman. I think she's had an amazing year. I think 2024 was the best year of her entire career in WWE, and she has honestly earned a spot as the Iron Woman for a Royal Rumble match. So give me Liv Morgan to be this year's Iron Woman. Now, who is going to be having the most eliminations? Give me Jordynne Grace. I think Jordynne Grace is going to have herself an amazing Royal Rumble. I think Jordynne Grace is honestly deserved of a huge position for this year's Women's Royal Rumble match herself. Now, I do not personally have her winning the Women's Royal Rumble, but the fact of the matter is, I would not mind if somehow she just showed up into WWE under contract and just possibly won this year's Royal Rumble match. I think that would be absolutely insane and fantastic for her. But I think having her have the most eliminations would be the best possible way to show that she is here to play and she is just absolutely one of the best women that you can possibly have on your roster, bar none, no doubt about it. Now, who is in my final four for the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble? Give me Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. Out of those final four, who do I believe is going to be the ultimate winner of the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble? I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair, with the fact that they announced her participation in the Women's Royal Rumble match upon her return from injury, I think it's kind of telegraphing that she is going to be the winner of the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match, and she will be taking on Tiffany Stratton heading into this year's WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas for that WWE Women's Championship over on Friday Night SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton has been wanting this match with Charlotte Flair, and I do believe we get it at WrestleMania. And finally, let's talk about the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match. Now, the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match is absolutely stacked. We already have half the field that's already declared their spot for this year's Rumble match, and I'm going to be telling you guys who's in this Rumble match as of right now. So the participants for this year's Men's Royal Rumble match go as follows. We got Roman Reigns, John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, main event Jey Uso, Yeet, LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Rey Mysterio, Shinsuke Nakamura, Logan Paul, Penta, Chad Gable, Braun Breaker, and Carmelo Hayes. And again, I wrote them down that way I wouldn't forget. Now the thing is, when it comes down to this year's Men's Royal Rumble match, it's probably one of the most anticipated and one of the most exciting Royal Rumble matches that we have seen in quite some time. And not only that, it's probably one of the most unpredictable Rumble matches that we have seen in quite some time as well. So the fact that we have already seen half of the field already declare their spot and how stacked half the field is already going to be, I can't even imagine what the rest of the field is going to be like. But just like I said with the Women's Rumble, I'm going to start off with some surprise entrants we could possibly see in this year's Men's Royal Rumble match. So let's start off with that. Let's start off for all my Homo sapiens out there. We got Omos showing back up in this year's Royal Rumble match. I think Omos is going to be showing up. He just came back from Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan, so he's going to be showing up and he is going to be wrecking house for you Homo sapiens out there. Now, I do believe that we're only going to be having one NXT participant for the Men's Royal Rumble match, and I think it's a lock for Trick Williams to be a part of this match. I think Trick Williams showing up in this Men's Royal Rumble match to really kind of have that stare down, go down between him and Carmelo Hayes is just inevitable at this point, and who knows, maybe those two could even start off at number 1 and number 2. That way we can actually get a proper whoop that trick part of his entrance for this year's Men's Royal Rumble match. And when it comes down to some TNA talent being a part of the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match, give me Joe Hendry, obviously, because we believe, and I do believe that he will be a part of this. Give me Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler. I think that would be an amazing pop for him to show back up in the WWE. And also, out of the blue, give me Matt and Jeff Hardy to show up in this year's Royal Rumble match. I think those from TNA make the most logical sense when it comes down to surprise entrants for this year's Royal Rumble match, so I would not be surprised if any, if not all of them, show up in this match. Now, when it comes down to a surprise return from injury, give me AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles is ready enough to come back into the fold of WWE, and I think AJ Styles showing up in this year's Royal Rumble match would be a very, very cool spot for him, plus the pop would be great. And I know doing commentators in the 2025 Royal Rumble match really does not make a lot of sense, but compared to what we are at right now in terms of where we are in Indianapolis, I think Pat McAfee showing up in this year's Royal Rumble match just makes sense because of the connection that he has with the Indianapolis Colts. And I know that this is a long shot, but the fact of the matter is Corey Graves is medically cleared to compete, and we all know that Corey Graves is not really happy with WWE right now. Maybe it's storyline, maybe it's not, who knows, but regardless, Corey Graves showing up in this year's Royal Rumble match would be absolutely insane. Stay down for all you people out there that actually knew him from his days in NXT. That was absolutely one of my favorite times for Corey Graves, and I think that would be a really cool spot for him to be in. And I know I'm delusional, but give me Matt Cardona in this year's Rumble match, please. I want to see Matt Cardona back in the WWE, and I don't want to see him back as Zack Ryder. I want to see him back as Matt Cardona. Please give me Matt Cardona in this year's Royal Rumble match, and I would be a very happy boy. But that's it for my surprise entrance. Let me show you guys who I think is going to be this year's Iron Man, and that's none other than him, Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo Hayes is going to be this year's Iron Man for the Royal Rumble. You know, the fact of the matter is Carmelo Hayes has not really been presented all that well on WWE programming as of late. He's honestly missed quite a lot, and I know he doesn't quote unquote miss, but he's been kind of in a bad situation as of right now on WWE programming. So why not give him the Iron Man match to show him what he can honestly really do in the landscape of WWE as of right now? I want to see him be the Iron Man in this year's Rumble match. And I know this just may seem very obvious to every single one of you out there, but for the most eliminations, I'm going with Jacob Fatu. I mean, the fact of the matter is he absolutely destroyed Braun Strowman at Saturday Night's main event, and the fact that you did that, the fact that you did the Bronson Reed type treatment for Jacob Fatu, if he actually doesn't have the most eliminations, I'll be very shocked. Let's just say it that way. Now it's time for me to talk to you guys about my final four for this year's Men's Royal Rumble match. When it comes down to the final four, give me Roman Reigns, CM Punk, John Cena, and Seth Rollins. But the ultimate winner for this year's Royal Rumble match, to me, it just makes a lot of sense. You gotta go with Phil Brooks. You gotta go with CM Punk. Pepsi Phil has the best possible storyline out of everybody here to win the Royal Rumble match here for 2025. Because yes, I do understand the whole John Cena factor of John Cena being in his final Rumble match. I do believe that John Cena obviously will be a part of WrestleMania. That is non-negotiable. He will be a part of WrestleMania. But I do not believe having him win the Royal Rumble match would be the best possible thing for him, because he's said it himself that at the end of the day, he hasn't even won a singles match over the course of the last few years. So the fact of him just showing up in the Rumble and winning the Rumble, to me, doesn't make most logical sense. You go with the correct story and you go with the most logical story, and that is CM Punk winning the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match. Plus, when it comes down to CM Punk winning the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match, he has so many possibilities of who he can be facing at this year's WrestleMania. It's not even funny. You could have him go up against Cody Rhodes for that undisputed WWE Championship after everything that we saw in their promo on the final go home show before the Royal Rumble. You can have him go up against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, just like how he basically called out Gunther when he won against Seth Rollins on the first main event of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. You can have Seth Rollins possibly win the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther on this path to WrestleMania, and you can still do CM Punk versus Seth Rollins like we were possibly supposed to be getting last year at WrestleMania 40. There are so many possibilities when it comes down to CM Punk winning the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match, and I feel like that just makes the most logical sense. But that's what I think. So at the end of the day, those are my predictions for this year's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you guys hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you are new, and turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you guys never miss another upload right here on the YouTube channel. I will be doing a Royal Rumble 2025 full show review on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Stay safe. God bless. And peace.